The NFL season is right around the corner and the Jags are ready. All right. So here's a couple things that I want to say just in the beginning of the video. Number one, I love Jacksonville. Like, I really do like this team. I've always enjoyed it. When I was younger, I'm old enough to remember the first iteration of the Jags. And so watching them in the 90s was just a blast for me, right? And beyond, right? So whether it was Brunell and Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell, all right, and Baselli, or and all of those guys, Fred Taylor, or moving into the next generation, like, I've always enjoyed watching Jacksonville football. That's number one. Number two, apparently I don't know how to say Jaguars. All right. So I think what I usually say is the Jaguars or the Jaguars. And so every time me or Chris make a video, it's like, you don't know how to say it. That's just how we pronounce that animal's name up in the north. All right. Because we're from Michigan, right? So we say Jaguars. Am I saying it right? Anyways, I don't know if I want to fill the comment section with how to say Jaguars. But can I just call them the Jags? So here's what I do know. What I know is there was an unfortunate thing and a not smart decision by one of their players that cost him a season in the NFL, and that's Ridley, Calvin Ridley. And now what ends up happening, as so often happens, when a player is trying to revitalize his career, he got put in a position that was even better. I mean, he could be with the Falcons right now, and who knows who his quarterback would be, because if he was still there, who knows what that looks like. But so he could be there with, let's even just say, Ritter and an offense that doesn't throw much, or he can go to a place with what I believe is the best up and coming quarterback in the National Football League. And we'll show you some stats to back it up. And they are just getting started. Many of you saw during the second quarter of Jacksonville's last preseason game, they beat Miami. Chubb came off the edge. He was pressuring Lawrence, and Lawrence, without even thinking, just threw it up. He just threw it up over in Ridley's direction, and Ridley makes kind of a back shoulder grab. It was a good grab. It gets everybody excited except Ridley. All right. And I think this is one of those things that you talk about. So I want to talk about what brings these guys to this point and why I think it could be so unbelievably special for the next few years going forward, but especially this year. I think it could be unbelievable. Here's what Ridley said. I'm going to give you a couple quotes here. He said, day one, since I got here, we've been throwing, working, talking, communicating, building a relationship, becoming friends, going to each other's house. Like, this is great. This is great. That's how you get better. I mean, it's one thing to get reps, and reps are huge. But if you have reps and relationship, ding, 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 let's go. All right. He said, the moment I got free, we were throwing. So we've been working, man. All right. He went on to say this. He said, we've been trying to make sure we're handling our part. We want to be those spectators that we are helping the team, or superstars, not spectators, superstars that we are helping the team move the ball, help the team win games. And here's the part that I love when he kept talking about it. He was like, nah, more plays are to be made. He wasn't even impressed with his catch. And it was a good catch. Like, it was a good throw, it was a good catch. But here's the thing about the catch. If you go back and look at it, you can YouTube it, right? Calvin Ridley catch against the Miami Dolphins. You'll find it. It won't take long. All right. And what you'll see is that it was a good catch. But here's what I will say about the catch. I watched a lot of Jacksonville football last year. I did, especially the back half of the season. I even went to a Jacksonville football game when they came and played the Lions. Sorry, I'm not rubbing it in. I promise. You guys made the playoffs. We didn't. So you got the last laugh. Don't even worry about it. But here's the thing about that catch. I love Christian Kirk. It's a catch Christian Kirk isn't making. I love Evan Ingram. It's a catch he's very unlikely to make. And I have grown to really like Zay Jones, but he's not making that catch. What you saw was a lot of receivers that were being schemed open, that were using their speed, their athleticism, their route running to get open, and then making open catches and doing stuff in the open field. You weren't seeing a bunch of guys making remarkable contested catches. This brings a completely different dynamic to the offense because now when it breaks down at the offensive line, or you have a blitzer that's unaccounted for, or you just have a great player that's wreaking havoc and getting to Trevor Lawrence. One, he has the athletic ability to scramble, to get out of there, to make a play with his feet, and he did a lot of that last year. But now, number two, he has the ability to be like, I can't go anywhere. I'm going to throw it up to my guy. And how many yards are made throughout the year? Like we go to Minnesota and you look at Justin Jefferson. How many times was it just like, all right, here we go. Let's just throw it up to him. They won a game that way. The Buffalo Bills, he made that amazing catch, Jefferson. Like, if you have a receiver like that, we got to see it in Detroit for so many years with Kelvin Johnson. You've had great receivers in Jacksonville. I just said a couple of them early on with this, but you haven't had it in a while. And this is a different playmaker, but I think what's so different about it too is that you have Trevor Lawrence throwing to him. So Trevor Lawrence is coming off just, oh man, it was such a bad year with Urban Meyer. So he's going into his second year. He's top 10 in passing yards in the NFL. And that's throwing away the first 6-7 weeks because it was just the coaching staff trying to get this team back to level. They were pretty good the first few weeks, but then they had quite a decent losing streak. They had a rough stretch there until after the Lions game when they got super hot. He's top 10 in passing yards. He's top 10 in percentage, I believe, completion percentage. He's top 10 in touchdowns. All right. And he only threw 8 interceptions. He had a QB rating of 95. Guess what? Top 10. All right. So like these are all these things that he was able to do last year. He was one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the league as a sophomore, second year. And now you add another year in the same system with a weapon that's, we don't know for a fact because Kirk was good. I mean, Christian Kirk was good last year. He really was. And I mean, even he got over 1,000 yards receiving, if I remember correctly. Yep, 1,108. All right, which puts him as, I think, just outside the top 10. All right, as far as receiving yardage goes. But you take a guy who's proven that he can be even better than that, and you add him to a guy who in his second year was a top 10 quarterback by all important statistics, all important metrics, and you don't take away anything else, they just put the NFL on notice in that game with that throw. We all knew it. We heard it coming out of camp. We saw the stuff. But in the final preseason game before the season started, they officially put the NFL on notice that said, hey, this is going to be an elite offense in the NFL this year. And I hope you're excited to watch it because I know I am. All right. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Are they a top 5 offense? Are they a top 3 offense? Are they just a top 10 offense? You let me know what you think. When you're leaving that comment, subscribe to the channel, like the video for more Jags content. Jaguars. Let's get it.